when we've seen Alabama lose and we've seen them games that they should have lost, and still this recency
to a
bias.
crappy A&M team.
Was just a question I was having for my one of the videos I'm about to do, and I'll even, if you guys want to kind of jump in on that, we can. But just wanted to kind of see, what did you think about this first set of rankings? I'm a little peeved about Alabama being ahead of an unbeaten TCU team when we've seen Alabama lose and we've seen them games that they should have lost, and still this recency
to a
bias.
crappy A&M team.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it feels like I feel like Mississippi's going to beat them. I do. I mean, it may not matter in a couple of weeks because, what I would tell you is I feel like that TCU better win out, because if they don't, then you're definitely not going to make it in, even if you win the Big 12.
Because you're a Big 12 team and they don't care. Right. It's all about Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan.
Right.
It's all about the SEC and the Big 10.
Logan's
the tough
just
part of it is that Michigan and Ohio State are really good, huh?
Logan's just butthurt because they lost 2 games last year.
Yeah, they shouldn't have got beat by TCU, bro. You can't complain about that.
I'm mad because we lost to TCU. I mean, that's the thing. I'm mad that we lost to TCU.
I think the ranking is okay. I don't think it's good.
I would too if I was a Texas fan at 5.
I feel like it's, dude. I'm not even talking about I'm not even looking at anybody outside the top 10. I don't care about no team outside the top 10.
What I would say I think Texas being in the top 25 is a big thing for respect of the league, is what I should say. That's that they respect the league enough that that's 4 teams in that ranking, when there's not a lot of conferences that do have 4. So just to think of it in those terms, I mean, you got to realize that they do respect the league a little bit.
I didn't think about it like that either.
Hang on, let me touch on.
But then you say that, but then they freaking don't put TCU over a 1-loss Alabama.
Yeah.
So how much do they respect it? It bothers me.
I feel like. Okay, all right. Let me scratch this. I'm gonna touch on one thing first, and then I'm gonna move on real quick. Okay, Logan. Yes, Texas is ranked. He feels like Baylor should be ranked over Texas.
No, I did not say that. What I said is that Texas should not be ranked. It's a 5-3 team,
who should it be? Who should it be? I'm not saying they should be ranked, but who should it be? You want 6-2?
Why is Washington 6-2? Why is Washington 6-2 above a 5-3 Texas team?
Who are their wins to? A 5-3 Texas team whose 3 losses are by 1 possession. 2 of them on the road. One of them to number 18 and one of them to number 6 by 1 point. I mean, I'll have to pull up Washington. I don't even know who they've played because it's Washington.
Well, they got wrecked. They got wrecked by UCLA for sure. And then their other loss. Do they have another loss?
Washington.
They're 6-2.
Okay, they lost to Arizona State. They lost to 2 unranked teams, and they beat California by 7. Are you kidding me, Logan? That's the team you won over us? Well, they were whenever the game was played. They were unranked when the game was played. Sorry.
They were? Because they were in the top 10 after that. That's silly talk.
It shows number 15, Washington, unranked UCLA.
Well, but and I'll tell you, UCLA really hadn't played anybody. So when they beat Washington, everybody thought a lot of them. And then they beat Utah, which I will say that their losses, that matters. But but that's really the only 2 teams that UCLA has played. Period. And until they played Oregon and got the brakes beat off of them. So I don't know. I'm not a big believer in that UCLA program. I like Chip a lot. I think that Chip's still a really good coach. I just think that it's hard to get the guys that you really need to get at UCLA. Because they're not going to choose you over SC, and these days they're not choosing you over Oregon either. So it's a tough deal for them. They may end up a little better I think it benefits UCLA more than it benefits SC to go to the Big Ten. I do. So
well, as far as the actual teams that are contenders go, I think the only issues I have is I agree. Just on the basis of record, TCU should be ranked above Bama. But if you put those 2 on a neutral field, I wouldn't pick TCU.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't pick TCU in half the games that they won.
I think that's me putting that's the difference between a rating and a ranking. Is power rated. I would take
you're gonna decide who you think's gonna win. But let me ask you this. But okay, I wouldn't have told you. I wouldn't have told you that freaking Texas has a chance to beat Alabama at the end of the game either. That in the fourth quarter that they're going to be leading, even in Austin. There's no way I believe that. So the fact that the same goes for Texas A&M going to Tuscaloosa. Now, of course, they played a backup quarterback, but I mean, there's no way in hell.
Does it also have to play into the fact that Alabama's only loss is to the number 1 team? Like, how far can you drop them? You can't drop them too far for losing by 3 to the number 1 team.
I agree with that. And it's like I said, I mean, dude, it isn't going to matter in a couple of weeks. We're going to know. We're going to know how good everybody is in a couple of weeks.
My biggest problem is Clemson at number 4. I don't think Clemson's that good. Even unbeaten.
Listen, they've beaten more ranked teams than anybody else except for Tennessee.
I know, but they're just I don't know.
Wake Forest is a real team. Wake Forest is a real team. Until North Carolina State lost their quarterback, they were real too.
Yeah,
I'm literally until NC State. Huh?
But they needed Cade Klubnik to come in to beat Syracuse. DJU.
Not that they really used him. They just ran. Yeah, I think that's their Achilles heel is DJ. I don't think that. I think, and the fact that Dabo won't pull him out. He's not going to pull him out. He's going to continue to start him, come hell or high water. That's just what he wants to do. And I think it's
I thought Ole Miss would have been that. I mean, their one loss to LSU by a lot hurts them.
Yeah, and it was close the whole way. They had some bad. I think that I was just watching some stuff before I jumped on with you guys, and they were talking about. There was a guy from CBS that was talking about. He thinks that they still control their own destiny, probably better than anybody else. Probably better than anyone. What do you got growing behind your head there? Oh, a cat. What's going on over there?
No, what are you doing?
I was like, whoa, what?
Man, if
you got a tail, Christian?
I got another kid.
But no, what was I saying? Man, I got threw me all the way off. No,
you're talking about Ole Miss.
Yeah, he was talking about that. He felt like they were the one team that probably had an actual opportunity, or that probably controlled its own destiny. I believe that LSU may still be kind of that too, except for the fact that they have 2 losses. So it's going to take a lot for LSU to get there, and that's what he was saying. If Ole Miss is to win out, and say, even if they're win out and they win the SEC, there was somebody saying that if they were to win the SEC championship game, even though they, that loss to LSU could keep them out of the playoff. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That doesn't make sense to me. But the other guy was saying the opposite of that. He was like, no, I think that's the one team that kind of controls its own destiny better than anybody else's, because of the fact that they could win. They're going to have to beat Alabama, obviously, along the way. And then you would have to beat either Tennessee or Georgia in that championship game. What do you guys think about that game this weekend? Who's going to win it?
But you would need LSU to lose a conference game because they have the tiebreaker on them.
They do. Well, they're not. The chances of them getting into that championship game is only if LSU's to lose. But of course, they're playing Alabama this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. I mean, do I expect LSU to beat Bama? No.
Could they? Yeah.
Could they? Yeah.
The spread on that game is like 13.5. I don't think Bama will cover that spread.
I don't either.
That's a lot, dude. Yeah. I think people underrate Kelly as a coach a lot, man. A lot. I really do.
Yeah, I think LSU will cover that spread. But the game you asked about specifically, Tennessee play number 1. So I was telling Logan, this is the first time we've had the number 1 team in the CFP poll, College Football Playoff poll, play against the number 1 in the AP poll. I think a 9-point spread is kind of crazy. I think the Vols can win this game. So I picked the Vols in this game.
With the points. You would take them with the points. I think I would take them with the points all day long. I think that because the problem these are opposite teams, man. These are completely opposite teams. One's got a dominant defense, one's got a trash offense, and one's got a dominant offense and a sketchy defense,
Yeah.
they've proven that they can go up against these teams that have your supposedly dominant offensive or defensive types and go put up 50. So, I mean, I don't know that they don't win outright. I have a hard time believing they're going to go to Athens and win, but I think that it could be very close, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I'm with you. The nine is a lot.
I think that'll be.
I would take that. Game. I would take that bet to the book right now. Easy. I'd grab
it's actually moved. We pick our picks earlier in the week, and I think it's actually moved now to 8. I think it went to 8.5, and now it's at 8. So I wouldn't be surprised if it drops. I bet a lot of people are picking Tennessee right now, so I would be surprised.
It'll move because of the money. Yeah, it'll move because of the money, because you'll have a lot of, and living in Vegas for over a decade, I can tell you that there's certain schools that get a lot of heavy action. They get a lot of betting and stuff like that. And not that I would necessarily say Tennessee was one of them, because I wouldn't know. I know that Tennessee is a very popular popular team, and people love offensive juggernaut teams. So I could see them being one of those heavy betting guys, betting teams that you're going to get a lot of bets on it, particularly they're the number one team in the country. You get a lot of people that bet on Ohio State. They'll move numbers like crazy on Ohio State just because of the fact that they get so much action, even in games that they, when they're, it's not a bunch that they're going to be dogs, but like in a CFP or something like that, if you see them up against Alabama, you would get a lot more bets on OSU, even if Bama should win. You'll get a lot more bets on OSU. So I feel like you're probably right. If it's moving, it's not moving because of the sharps. It's moving because of the betting
money.
Yeah.
They have to move it, because if they keep letting people bet the under and it hits,
then they're in risk. The book itself becomes at risk.
Right.
Yeah. So,
well, hey, I've really enjoyed having you on, man. This is great conversation. We can probably dice this up into at least 2 or maybe 3 videos.
Cool. You guys do it.
We appreciate that for sure. Once again, guys, first of all, if y'all made it this far in the video, we do appreciate y'all rocking with us. Y'all make sure to check out Jason on Twitter at BirdieManDub, and here on Facebook, as well as TikTok, Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. He's got a lot of great content. YouTube. Yeah. On YouTube. Yeah, he's working on his TikTok.
My TikTok is, I don't do a ton of TikTok stuff. So
okay.
It's all hit and miss there, but I'm definitely on YouTube all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, anything else you wanna plug? Go for it.
No, man, that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys having me on, and obviously I will be doing my live show on YouTube and Facebook Saturday night. That's at 11 Eastern time, so it'd be 10 there in Texas. So, and you guys are still welcome. I was hoping to have one or both of you guys come on. We can kind of talk about the day and what happened. Obviously, some big games happening.
Really
one of us can talk some trash to the other about the Baylor-Oklahoma game, and then there'll be plenty of other stuff to talk about as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you guys are interested, I'll shoot you the link, and you guys can jump on. Sure. Okay.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, guys.
Man. We appreciate you. Thank you, sir, for all the insight that you've given us.
Hey, we appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.